When powerful, corrupt individuals and collectives impose dubious, stringent rules on what we're all allowed to say, the funniest and most socially beneficial thing a comedian can do is to break them. Jerry Sadowitz, whilst not being a bigot, says bigoted things on stage, because him being allowed to do that is a demonstration and a celebration of our freedom of speech. When his show gets cancelled, as it just has been by the Pleasance venues at the Edinburgh Fringe for ideological reasons, it shows us that we are not free. Sadowitz is the canary in the coal mine. When comedians like him or myself get banned, it means unequivocally that as a society we've completely surrendered our freedom to authoritarians. In their mealy-mouthed, pathetic, dishonest defence of cancelling Sadowitz's show, the Pleasance said, "We are proud of the progress we have made across our programming, which includes significant investment and support for Black, Asian and global majority artists, LGBTQ+ voices and those from working class backgrounds, and the strong representation of women. We do not believe that racism, homophobia, sexism or misogynistic language have a place in our venues." Notice that in this pretentious, pompous, woke corporate claptrap statement that the Pleasance says nothing about supporting talented and funny comedians, which is literally their job. They've become yet another cultural institution, pushing a patronising, divisive Marxist identity politics agenda on us all, rather than doing their job of entertaining their audiences. Sickeningly, the vast majority of comedians at the Edinburgh Fringe have carried on in silence, turning up at their shows at the Pleasance, not having the personal integrity to raise their voice against what is obviously a hideous display of censorship. These comedians are total cowards, weaklings, and too stupid to realise that they could very well be next for the chopping block. They think they could never be smeared as a sexist or a racist and have their career cancelled, and then they will be, because they didn't speak up when it happened to others, out of selfishness, callousness and spite. Because every time a successful comedian gets cancelled, they think it means more opportunities for themselves. On a more positive note, a few comedians who've been happy to join in on cancel culture dogpiles in the past, like Catherine Ryan and Richard Herring, are now speaking up in defence of Sadowitz, because they see how easily the woke mob could come for them too. But they both need to do more, because when comedians started being cancelled several years ago, these two were there with their pitchforks joining in. Audiences at the Edinburgh Fringe need to boycott the Pleasance venues, and they probably are. But we'll never know, because Edinburgh Fringe venues have a consistent track record over the years of lying about ticket sales and inflating box office figures, whilst comedians who've spent 15 grand to be there wonder why they're performing their slick show that they've spent the past 2 years developing to an unair-conditioned room with only a handful of people in it. The Edinburgh Fringe needs to also rid itself of influential people with an extreme political agenda, such as militant hard-left journalists Steve Bennett from the Chortle website and Brian Logan from The Guardian, as well as champion of woke culture Nika Burns, who runs the Edinburgh Comedy Award. But most importantly, comedians need to have each other's backs and publicly support each other's creative choices. And that's absolute. There's no middle ground on that. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to my Patreon by following the link below this video.